Hello, welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're making biscuits and gravy. To start off with, we're going to make the biscuits. You're going to start with 2 cups of flour. To this you're adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of sugar. Mix it up a little bit. If you want, then you can add 1/4 cup of shortening, and we're going to use a whole stick of butter cut up into smaller pieces. This just makes it easier for you to mix it through when you're mixing it with the flour and the other ingredients. Larger pieces take longer to break up. Take a fork and go through the mixture, push down on the butter. You want to break it up till you get to a point to where the butter actually is about the size of a grain of rice. You just want to keep breaking it up until it mixes through, and as you do this, the other ingredients including the flour are going to work through it to make it into these smaller clumps of pieces that you're going to use to make the biscuits. This will take a few minutes to go through it all. I suggest working your way from the sides inward. That's the way I do it, so that way you can catch hold of the butter and bring it with you and break it up into the pile of flour that's already underneath. As you go, you do want to stir your edges in and get the flour into the center of the bowl. As you go along, turn over the flour repeatedly, because that way you're going to see where the clumps of butter are sticking or hiding from you, because you do want to make sure they mix through. Shortening's not a problem, but butter, it holds its shape. And once you have it mixed through, you're going to use at least a cup of buttermilk. You may need a little more. I would pour it in about half of the cup at a time, so that way you can start to mix it through and get it through the flour, because it does take a minute to mix this through thoroughly. You don't want to leave any powder in the bottom of the bowl or stuck around the sides. You do want to mix this up completely. Once it gets really clumpy, dump in the rest of your buttermilk. As I said, if you need more, pour more in. As you're mixing this up, you want your oven to be preheating to at least 425 to 450, depending on your oven. Some people's ovens are hotter than others. Don't ever trust what it says it is. I always put a thermometer in just to check, because mine runs a little low. Once these are mixed together, you want to get a board and flour it for you to take out and cut the mixture up into biscuits. I always take it out a bit at a time, put a little flour over top, and just flip it back and forth a bit, folding it over, so that way you get everything mixed through and it's a solid piece. You don't want it falling apart. That's not really great. When you push down the cutter, just pop these things to the side until you have a baking pan ready for them. Depending on the size that you're cutting these biscuits, you can get between 10 to 12 biscuits from this mix. It's a decent amount, which is good. You can always increase this. Just remember, just every time you increase it, increase everything. All your ingredients go up by the same amount. Okay, when you're ready to put these into your pan, I use a regular 8 or 9-inch cake pan. I line it with aluminum foil and then spray it with the nonstick cooking spray. And then you want to line these up side by side and pretty much to the point where they're touching. If they don't go in properly, just slide them around. They'll slide on the spray, it's no big deal. And as you can see, you can fit quite a few of these in a pan. Once you put them in the oven, you're going to bake them for at least 20 to 25 minutes, and when they come out, this is what they're going to look like: golden brown and great southern biscuits. Now we're going to start making the gravy for your gravy and biscuits. You want to test the oil. Once you put it all over the bottom of your pan and heat it up, if you drop a little bit of flour in it, it starts to sizzle, you're ready to put in your flour. To this, we are going to add 1/4 cup of flour. You can put it in all at once or a little at a time, but start mixing it through your oil. I actually split it up when I do it, so that way I don't get too many clumps when I'm mixing. But you need to keep stirring this. That's why I use a whisk. You can actually stir and get everything moving through. It's going to take a few minutes to mix it thoroughly. Once you have it mixed through, you'll know that there are no clumps, there's nothing sticking to the side. You're going to want to start to add your milk. You're going to use 1.5 cups to 2 cups of milk. Don't put it all in at once. Pour it in as you need it. I usually start out by putting half of it in and start to mix and let it start to thicken up. As you're thickening, then you can add a little more milk. If you get to a point that you used almost all of the milk that you have in your container, you might want to add more if it's too thick for you. Some people like thick gravy, some people like it thin. I kind of like it middle of the road, so I add until I actually have something that's pretty much silky and smooth, but not too thick. The trick is to keep stirring, because that's going to break up any lumps that you have. Now to this, you're going to end up adding salt and pepper. The thing about that is not everybody likes the exact same amount of salt or pepper. So you're going to have to choose like how you want to do it. I would start by adding a little at a time of each and then decide if you like it or not. I use a lot of salt in mine. Not everybody wants to do that. I like pepper, so I put that in mine as well quite a lot. But put in a little bit, stir it up, and then do a little taste test, and that way you'll know if it's to the level you want. It's already cooked at this point when you're putting the salt and pepper in it. You should be able to get a taste of it, just don't burn your mouth. And once your biscuits come out of the oven, you're going to want to let them sit and cool for a second while your gravy is finishing. Like I said, the biscuits are in at 400 to 425, something in the nature of that, for about 20 minutes or so. So at the end, this is what you're going to get: gravy and biscuits, Southern style. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great day.